Good afternoon. We are continuing on with those X and Y intercepts. Today we are doing CO53. I can identify the X-intercept and Y-intercept of a line given an equation. So instead of looking at that graph and saying, oh, it's crossing the X-axis here, that's easy to see what that ordered pair is. Now we're going to use an equation to find it. So we're building on something that we fully mastered. That was a pretty easy objective yesterday. And we're going to be building on this whole unit. It does get more complicated, right? We're getting more in-depth with stuff. So let's think back to what we learned yesterday. What is true about the ordered pair of every X-intercept? What did we just talk about, Joe?
Y equals 0.
Yeah, that Y will always equal 0. What do we know about every Y-intercept? Elliot?
X equals 0.
The X equals 0. This is important to know and to remember because we're going to be using equations with X's and Y's and those intercepts. Okay? So the above answers are important because it helps us understand why we do what we do when solving an equation for the X-intercept and Y-intercept. To find an X-intercept, you solve for X when Y equals 0. So the opposite, for the Y-intercept, you're going to solve for Y when X equals 0. That's a 0. So these equations are in a different form. It's called the standard form. AX plus BY equals C. So this is the standard form. We're going to be working with different equations in this unit. This is one of them. So the A and the B and the C are going to be the numbers that we're seeing. Then you can see we have the X variable and that Y variable. So we're going to solve for both the X-intercept and the Y-intercept for each of these equations. So think about what it says to find the X-intercept. We're solving for X when Y equals 0. How do you think I want to set up my equation for the X-intercept? And we want to label that this is the X-intercept because we're also going to be doing the Y-intercept. Yes.
Do you have Mrs. White's color pencils? Oh yeah, they're right there.
Thank you. So when we borrow from someone else, we have to make sure we return them. Tell Mrs. White Finley says sorry she forgot to bring them back.
Okay.
All right. Solving this for the X-intercept, what do you think we're going to do if when we solve for X, when Y equals 0? Anybody have a guess as to how we would solve for the X in the X-intercept? Anybody gonna be brave to make a wild guess? Joe? Multiply what?
3 times X.
So we don't know what the X is yet, right? That's what we have to solve for. We have to solve for the X. Joe?
If Y equals 0, it's 8y, and it'll be 8 times 0.
Exactly. So we're going to put a 0 in for that Y. The only variable I have left now is the X. So we're going to put a 0 in for Y. 8 times 0 is what? 0. So I'm going to rewrite that again now and say 3x. I don't have to say plus 0. 3x equals 24. how do I solve for x? Colton?
Do you, wait, divide 3
Why would I divide 3, Colton?
to get x alone?
Yeah, I want to get the x by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by 3. Opposite operations. Oh, that comes back to haunt us all the time. Opposite operations. We want x by itself, so we're going to do the opposite to move that 3 to the other side. We're going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So now I need to write the ordered pair for my x-intercept. So my final step is writing that ordered pair. What would my ordered pair be? Henry?
3, 0.
Why 3?
Because, wait, no, 8, 0.
X equals 8, right? Henry forgot to look down to that next step, right? X equals 8, so I'm going to put an 8 in for the x, and I know y equals 0 whenever it's an x-intercept. You have to go through this step by step. Why do I not want us to do mental math with this? Joe?
Because if you make a mistake, there's a lot of work where you can see where you
If you make a mistake, we can find where your mistake happened. Did you put the 0 in the right spot? Did you accidentally put 0 in for x instead of for the y? Okay, so did you accidentally multiply instead of divide? Math will get more complicated. Do I think some of us could look at it and say, okay, if I put a 0 in for y, and then, do I think some of us could do it mental math? Sure. Do we get any gold stars for doing mental math in pre-algebra? Absolutely not. What we're doing, not only helping us find mistakes so we can learn from our mistakes, it's also getting us in the habit of doing step-by-step problems. I have showed you what you will see in algebra. It gets way more complicated. Get in the habit of doing the steps, writing them out. So when it gets complicated, you're like, okay, I'm just going to take it step by step. And it's not as hard. It will come so much easier for you if you're in the habit of doing the steps. So do I really want us to write all this out? Yep. I do not want somebody just to put down 8, 0 for the x-intercept and call it done. Write out the steps. Let's look at our y-intercept. How am I going to set the equation up for solving for the y-intercept? What should I do there? Elliot?
Would be 0 plus 8, y.
That's exactly what it is. 3 times 0, when you put a number in parentheses like that, and there's a number outside the parentheses, it means you're multiplying it. Just like if there is a number outside of a variable, it means you're multiplying. It's that unseen math. So I put a parentheses there instead of putting the multiplication because that's what we see when we see math problems. We see those parentheses. So we just know that means multiply. Now we're going to work through our problem. We know 3 times 0 is 0, so we can rewrite it as 8y equals 24. What's my next step? I know Colton knows because he did it the last time. Gavin?
You divide them both by 8.
Divide them both by 8 because we want the y by itself. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 24 divided by 8 is 3. Am I done?
No.
Now what do I have to do, Colton?
Put it into a, order pair.
I need to put it into that ordered pair. What would my ordered pair be, Ellie?
3, 0. Or 0.
Why would I not write 3, 0 for it? Ellie?
Because we're doing the y instead of the x.
Yeah, because we put a 0 in for the x, So we have to make sure that we put a 0 in for the x, and if it says y equals 3, we have to put that 3 where the y is. Common mistake that people make, you bet. Okay. We have to pay attention. Details matter. Okay. Yes, this is a one-pager, but we are not going to rush through it because that's when we make those little mistakes. If there's a 3 and a 0, we have to make sure we put them in the correct spots. Think about what you're doing to make sure you're putting it, the ordered pair correctly. Let's do another one together. So we have 5x plus 2y equals 24. So you label it on top. One side you do the x-intercept, one side you do the y-intercept. What should we do if we run out of room? What do you think you should do, Clara?
Right on the other side, like the.
You could write on the left side where it's blank. You could also grab a piece of loose leaf and you can add that right into your binder. Okay, so sometimes we can't write super small and that's okay. We only have so much space on here. If you need to, you can put it into the other page, the other side of the page, or on a piece of loose leaf and include that into your binder. All right, so let's look. Let's start with our x-intercept. I have 5x plus 2y equals 30. How am I going to rewrite this equation? Holland.
5x plus 2, 0 equals 24. 30.
5x, so that's 5 times x, plus, we don't want to just say 2, 0. Because if you say 2, 0, I'm going to think it's 20. So we want to be careful. You can say 2 times 0, and either way we write it, 2 with the multiplication symbol and 0, or 2 with the parentheses 0, both of them mean multiply. So you want to say 2 times 0 to keep it straight in your head that we're multiplying there. What's my next step? What should I write? Henry?
5x equals 30.
Yeah, because we know 2 times 0 is 0, so we don't have to keep that in there. So we have 5x equals 30. What's next? Elliot? I need to divide both sides by 5 so I can get x by itself. What is 30 divided by 5, Ellie? 6. What is my final step, Emily?
6, 0.
I need to write my x-intercept, that ordered pair. X equals 6, so I need to put the 6 in the x spot of the ordered pair. I know my y is 0, so I put that in there. Who can tell me what the equation will look like for the y-intercept? Holton.
5 times 0 plus 2y equals 30.
What's my next step, Clara?
Take 2 times y equals 3.
Yeah, I don't need to have that 5 times 0 because that's going to be 0. So I'm going to take that off because I don't need to say 0 plus. So now I have 2y equals 30. What's my next step? Ellie?
Divide both sides by 2.
Divide both sides by 2 so I can get y by itself. 2 divided by 2 is 1. What is 30 divided by 2, Emily?
15.
15. What is my final step? Holland?
0, 0, 15.
I know that my x is 0, and I know y equals 15, so I write it as my ordered pair. So I have both the x-intercept and the y-intercept. We need to do that for all of the rest. Do both the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Again, if you need more space, write the whole equation process on the other page or on a piece of loose leaf. Okay, so it's okay if we need more space. We have plenty of options. Some of us can write small, and get it to fit, that's okay too. Does anybody have any questions on how to find the x and the y intercepts? Okay, so we're taking that knowledge from yesterday about where the zeros go, and we're solving for the x and for the y. At the very bottom, they're giving you the x and the y intercepts, and you need to figure out how to make the equation for that, so you're working it backwards. Okay, so I'm gonna let you kind of figure that one out on your own on how we would work that backwards. Okay? If you are watching at home and you have questions, make sure you come and ask me. When you are finished, we have the math packet we can work on. Again, I do not want people rushing through this, okay? When we go too fast, that's when we make those easy, simple mistakes. Think about what you're doing. Think about every step. If you have questions, come see me. If you want to check, did I get the right X and Y intercept for this one? Just want to make sure I'm on the right page. Yeah, come check, okay? If you are watching at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.